What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. I kicked off the Steelers offseason last week with ways to improve the Steelers offense. I talked about the positions, the coaches, and all the things we did well and not so well last season, and how we can come into next season with big improvements on the offensive side of the ball. If you guys want to see that video, go check it out. It is the last video on my channel. I'm going to be doing a ton of videos going forward, talking about the free agents we have, the ones we should keep, the ones we should cut, who we could draft, who we could target in free agency outside of other teams, and all the other kind of individual stuff we can be doing. But today I wanted to focus on the defense and kind of give a quick general overview of the things we can do to make a better impact next season. And whereas I think offense was kind of obvious, talking about figuring out our franchise quarterback, figuring out a coordinator that can be a West Coast style guy that can sling the ball around a little bit, figuring out the offensive line spots that are a little weak. The offense has a lot of talent who you can see being like franchise guys at their positions, top level guys. The offense was pretty easy to fix in terms of pinpointing the weaknesses. Defensively, I think we have a lot more to worry about. I think we're a lot further behind where we'd like to be on defense than we are on offense. We have more things to fix. And I'm going to start this with my first point. Just like I touched on offensive coordinator, I'm going to touch here on defensive. Now, I think it's been said already that Terrell Austin's going to come back and be our D coordinator again next season. I don't think there's going to be any upheaval there, but I think we should look at it. I think ever since the end of Dick LeBeau's reign here in Pittsburgh, even Dick LeBeau's last season or two, we have seen a lack of stability on the coordinator side for defense. Our defense lacks an identity. We have not been special at stopping the pass or stopping the run. We have not made a ton of splash plays in the past 2 years. We have not really, been a gap control team or a secure tackling team. A lot of the old Steeler tropes have gone by the wayside. We used to have the steel curtain defense that you would know would get a lot of sacks, would always have the vaunted pass rush, would always get a lot of splash plays, would always be short at tackling, would always be pretty, disciplined as far as penalties. We've lost a lot of those things on defense, and I think a lot of that comes with the coordinator. Obviously, talent's a big factor. We'll talk about it, but I think Terrell Austin is probably not the guy. And we had the guy possibly in Brian Flores who came over, was it last year or 2 years ago, came over to kind of be an extra set of eyes for Terrell Austin and hopefully eventually become the coordinator, but then he got hired right away because he was pretty much the steal of the offseason last year. So Flores is gone now and Austin has been the guy here, and we have not ranked very well. I mean, pass defense got better. We kind of got up to the middle of the field in pass defense. We're one of the worst teams in the league as far as rush defense. That to me is pretty surprising. We have a lot of things to fix. So I think Austin is not the right coordinator, but he has been listed as coming back for us next year, so he's not going to be the first guy we fix. I would look at that going forward and keep him on a very thin sheet of ice as far as, possible replacements and changes, especially if we start the first quarter of next season. We're 4 or 5 games into next year and we're ranked as the 27th, 28th defense, and we're not tackling and we're getting penalties, and we're not securing tackles and getting the right gaps, and we're not making splash plays. Terrell Austin's got to be one of the first guys to go next season. Looking, though, at the feasible changes on defense as far as players go, we need some help at all of our levels on defense. We're looking at D-line, we're looking at linebackers, and the secondary. I think all 3 phases of the ball need help next season. We brought a lot of guys in this year, and there's a lot of kind of question marks. I'm going to start with the D-line, looking at the D-ends and D-tackles. Looking at our D-line, and again, I'll give a more specific breakdown of this when I get into free agents and kind of how to build the roster for next year. I'll talk about positions way more specifically in the future, but I just want to give an overview today. And looking at the D-line, Cam Hayward is a big question, right? So Cam Hayward is not a free agent. He is scheduled to come back next season, but he obviously is slowing down. He is a very, very good player. He's been a perennial All-Pro for us. He's been a backbone of the Steelers culture for us. And even at his currently advanced age, he is a solid player. He had a good season this year. But we have a lot of guys on defense right now that have been playing good, but not great. Making consistent plays, but not always being healthy and not making splash plays. That's kind of where Cam falls right now. Arguably, he is our 3rd best player on defense still. You could say 3rd or 4th behind Highsmith. But obviously behind Watt and Minka, He is our third best player, if not fourth, with Highsmith. But again, he's getting up there in age. He's been banged up the last couple of years, and he's not making as many plays or as big of plays this season as he has in the past. Now, would I cut Cam Hayward? No, I would not. But he has said that he still wants to play, and he's not taking a pay cut. So he's going to be someone to look at in the future to monitor what to do on this D-line for the future. We saw, like I said, Cam was good but not great this year. Larry Ogunjobi was good but not great this year. You could argue Ogunjobi was very good at times, but not great. He's a good tackler. He had a few sacks this year. I think he might have recovered a fumble or two before Sloan recovered one or something like that, but not a ton of plays. He's a good guy as far as making the right plays, but not a ton of volume plays. And then you look at Keanu Benton, who became our starter at D-tackle, and you have to wonder, are they going to want him at D-tackle going forward? Are they going to want to transition him to Cam Hayward's spot? They thought they had found a guy in DeMarvin Leal, who they drafted at D-tackle 2 years ago, who was not big enough for D-tackle, but he was really good at playing D-end. But then last year, he kind of fell back to the wayside, had a big sophomore slump, and he wound up kind of falling back, and Keanu Benton came in and took Montravius Adams' spot at the D-tackle spot, and he looks like he might be able to play at D-end. So now you got a couple young guys who could play either spot, but where are they going to find their best places to play? So now you've got Cam Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi. Ogunjobi is going to be in the last year of his deal coming up. Cam is going to be a guy who has been a very solid backbone, who's kind of coming to an end in Pittsburgh pretty soon. Now you got to figure out, can DeMarvin Leal come back to where he was in his rookie year and play more consistently? Can Keanu Benton put it together for 2 years in a row, coming out after a good rookie season? And where do these guys best fit? Alongside Montravius Adams, who's a free agent, who is a worthy guy to bring back. Alongside a guy like Armon Watts, who's a very good, pass rushing kind of a guy. Where do you bring him back next year? Which one of those guys do you bring back at D-tackle? So there's a lot of moving parts, So we got to figure out kind of what the future is. But I think you want at least one more guy to come in and help your team, because we've had a lot of gap control issues. And part of that is inside linebacker and part of that's D-line. But we have not been a great team at tackling on the D-line or stopping the run game. We cannot be allowing running backs, especially third and fourth string running backs like this year, to break to the second level and be getting tackled constantly by KZ or Fitzpatrick. Allowing your corners to make your running game tackles says a lot of negative things about your inside linebackers and your D-line. So yes, you've got some good players. Yes, you've got some guys who can be great players, but you want to get at least one more guy that's going to help your D-line. Going to inside linebacker now, because outside linebacker, I think you know what you have. Obviously, TJ Watt is your franchise superstar. Highsmith is a really good number 2. You drafted a rookie in Nick Herbig last year who came in and outshined Marcus Golden at times as a number 3 guy who played on special teams and defense, made a lot of plays, got a few sacks, a few forced fumbles, special teams plays. He was great as a rookie last year. What a big bargain value for that. Was he a third or fourth rounder? I think we traded back for the 4th round for him. What a value he became for us last year. And Marcus Golden, what a solid signing. Whether he's your 3rd outside linebacker or he falls back to your 4th outside linebacker, he was a valuable guy that filled in toward the end of the year. Those 4 guys should all come back. Golden is the only free agent. I can see them letting him go because Herbig was so good, and he's not going to want to be a 4th guy. But either way, whether you come back with 3 or you come back with Golden and keep all 4, your outside linebackers are pretty well set. Your inside linebackers are probably your single biggest question on your entire team, because you brought in 3 guys last year initially. You brought in a Landon Roberts, Cole Holcomb, and Quan Alexander to be paired with Mark Robinson, those 4 guys. And all 3 of those guys got hurt a lot last year. Cole Holcomb played really well, was getting about 10 tackles a game until he got hurt for the rest of the season. Quan Alexander came in, was really good in preseason, was looking fast, was covering passes, was tackling well, was looking like a force, and then he got hurt immediately, which left to Landon Roberts, who came in and played above and beyond all expectations. Still not a cover guy, but was getting a lot of sacks, was getting in on a lot of third and fourth downs. He was making a lot of plays on key downs for us getting off the field, and then he got hurt for a few games at a time. He wasn't out for the year, but he'd miss 1 or 2 games here, come back, miss 1 or 2 more games. So all 3 of those guys got hurt, which led to us bringing in guys like Miles Jack, Blake Martinez, Michael Walker. We wound up with 7 different guys playing inside linebacker. You need to probably bring somebody else in next year that's going to be healthy, because availability is the best ability, and that's one we didn't have last year. Landon Roberts, keep that guy. He played great. We still have Cole Holcomb under contract for next season, so those 2 guys are going to be your starters. But number one, you got to figure out, is it worth bringing Quan Alexander back? Obviously, if he's worth a lot of money, then no, don't bring him back for a lot of money, because he's another year older and he was hurt again. But if you can bring him back for cheap on another prove-it deal like he took this year, then it's very worth it, because his highs are very high. When he's playing at his best and he's healthy, he's one of the best inside linebackers in the league, because he can play the run game and the pass game. He's incredibly fast, and he can cover better than anybody else we have when he's out there. I want to see all 3 of these guys, Cole, Quan, and Roberts, all play together consistently for at least half a season, if not a full season. I want to see these guys staying on the field together, so you have matchup nightmares. You can have Cole and Quan play on passing downs, your 2 fastest, best coverage guys, and bring a Landon Roberts in to thump on your running downs and get some tackles in the backfield on the running game. You got those 3 guys together. I really want to see what this season could be. Mark Robinson has proven he cannot play. He cannot be a starter. He's not a guy you want out there. They wouldn't have brought Quan Alexander in to be a 3rd guy as a 3rd veteran signing if they trusted Mark Robinson. And when he came in last year, once all those guys got hurt, they were still signing guys off the practice squad. They didn't trust Landon to play alongside Mark Robinson. They didn't think Mark Robinson was good enough to be the 4th guy. They didn't trust him. So they brought in Blake Martinez and Miles Jack and all these other guys who they had to bring in. Michael Walker. So I don't think that Mark Robinson is worth bringing in next season. I think you just cut him point blank, because if you got to sign 5-6 other guys ahead of him, he's not that good. So injury-wise, inside linebacker, yeah, you got 2 guys on the roster right now, and a 3rd guy is a free agent who you could bring in next year, but is it going to be enough? Not because of their ability, because they're all very talented, and they've played at a high level, and they were getting splash plays toward the end of the year before they got hurt. But you got to trust that you can bring another guy in who can play through injuries. So inside linebacker is something we got to figure out next season. Also, corners, speaking of injuries, Corey Trice back off injury. I like where we are as far as the guys we drafted. Joey Porter Jr. wound up being a star CB1 last year. He was a great draft pick who shut everyone down. He was allowing less than 40 yards a game to all the number 1 receivers. He was playing man. He was physical. He was following guys around. Yes, there's going to be times where you get burnt toward the end of the year. Yes, there's going to be times where you get holding penalties because he's too physical. But he's a cornerback 1, man-to-man, cornerback 1 shutdown guy. He's great. Corey Trice was valued for me in the 3rd round, got picked in the 7th, looked really good in camp, looked like he was battling for the other starting spot, and then he got hurt. So what does Corey Trice have coming off injury? And then all your other corners are pretty much free agents. Now you got to decide who to bring back. Levi Wallace is a free agent. Cut him as fast as possible. He's not someone you bring back. James Pierre is a free agent. He's not a guy you want to start. I understand he can be a special teams guy. He can be a guy that fills in here and there. Every time that I've seen him fill in as a starter, he's gotten beat for touchdowns. He's not a good starting corner. If he's out there, he's going to get beat. Even if guys get hurt, you don't want him out there. Cut him too. I would cut both him, Pierre, and Levi Wallace. I would come back with our 2 rookies, and then I would come back with 1 or 2 of our slot guys, because Chandon Sullivan and Elijah Riley, both are free agents also. They're going to be easy guys to re-sign, but I don't think you have enough firepower right now on either side. I don't want either one of those 2 outside guys back. So you want to rock with your 2 rookies. But again, Porter's still young, even though he's a shutdown guy. And Trice, although he's valued high for us, is a unproven 7th round pick coming off injury. That's not enough firepower. You want another veteran guy on the outside, and you want a veteran guy on the inside as your slot corner, because Patrick Peterson proved he can't be that. He is a safety now, and that's where he plays best and he is most valuable. You don't want Peterson back there either. So Wallace gone, Peterson moved to safety, and Pierre gone. That means you want another outside guy to play alongside Trice and Porter as a veteran who you can trust until you know that Trice is healthy and ready to play. And you want another inside guy, because while Chandon Sullivan and Elijah Riley made some plays last year and Sullivan wound up being pretty solid, he's not a full-time starter that you want to be your main slot guy. So I'd bring in slot help and outside help next year to shore that up. Safety-wise, there's an abundance of riches who you still got to figure things out with. Minkah Fitzpatrick, while being one of the best safeties in the league, just bit my tongue and now I'm injured, much like our safeties last year. Minkah Fitzpatrick, very good player, but no splash plays last year. Had his worst year of his career last year. That being said, still very good player, very good tackler, but wasn't doing a ton for us last year. Obviously, he's still our franchise guy at safety. But DeMonte KZ missed time last year. Obviously, Minkah missed half the season, which put us at a big deficit. Keanu Neal came in, really good tackler in the run game, didn't show much in the pass game, and then he was out for the year. So you had this big turnover at safety as well, where guys like Trenton Thompson had to start. So you lost your star, and then you were down to a couple other guys who missed time. KZ is not playing an entire season. He has not played one for us yet. Keanu Neal missed way more time than he played last year, so we didn't get to even see what he could really do to the fullest. And Patrick Peterson, moving to safety, gave us a second veteran who I liked there. Peterson's still on the roster, and Peterson's very valuable, but not being a corner. He is no longer an outside corner, and he's not going to work out at slot like we thought initially. His speed has gone downhill. He still has the instincts. He still has the tackling ability. He's got the presence. He doesn't have the speed or the youthfulness anymore to play either corner spot. So he goes down to safety. So you come into next year moving him to safety full-time with Minkah Fitzpatrick. You start the season with two veteran guys who you are sure can make plays on the ball. You've got Minkah and you've got Peterson. Peterson can roam in coverage and get your pass deflections and get your outside tackles on occasion. Minkah can roam down. He can do his blitzes. He can tackle the running game, and he can get splash plays. I like that combination of Minkah and Peterson. That being said, you want to get a third safety to roam around, and now you got to pick between KZ and Neal. Because like I said, neither guy's been entirely healthy. KZ is your better coverage guy of the two. Keanu Neal is your better box safety, your better blitzer, your better run tackler, your better hard hitter. So you got to pick for your third safety. There's no sense keeping all four of these guys, and I don't think KZ or Neal, after being long-term NFL starters, is going to want to re-sign for being a fourth guy. And I wouldn't trust Peterson playing corner anymore. So I'd bring in help on the outside and the inside for corner, and I would figure out which third safety you want to keep alongside Fitzpatrick and Peterson to now be your third guy. If you want the run stuffer blitz off the edge guy, that's Keanu Neal. If you want the better coverage third safety to allow Fitzpatrick to kind of come in and do blitzing stuff, that's going to be KZ. So you got to figure out what you want to do there. But either way, I would look at bringing in another defensive lineman to help. I would look at bringing in another inside linebacker in case of injury. I would look at bringing in another outside corner to go with your two rookies. And I would look at bringing in another slot corner to go with Sullivan. I like that help. And then again, figure out who you want to cut at safety. So there's opportunities here. We got a lot of players, but you got to figure out, along with bringing in some of those veterans, what do you have in terms of your fourth safety? What do you have in terms of DeMarvin Leal and his future? Is he going to be another guy along with Benton that can be your future D lineman, or do you have to rely still on the veteran guys, Ogunjobi and Cam? Inside linebacker, who can stay healthy for you? And do you want to bring somebody in or draft somebody that can be the future because you don't trust any of these guys to stay healthy? So there's a lot of questions on defense, more so with players. We're going to have Terrell Austin coming in. Keep that guy on a short leash. See what veterans you can bring in and where your biggest areas of need to target are. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments down below. Please go back and rewatch the offensive video as well, and then check this video out and see what you think about our defensive needs. Talk to me in the comments. Tell me what you think we need. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like these deep dive videos. And pretty soon, my next video, I think, is going to be bringing you guys the free agents. All of our free agents on our team. Of those free agents, who we should cut and who we should keep. I discussed a little today. I've got more to discuss. See you guys soon. Go Steelers. Let's build a good offseason and come in next season strong.